Okay, so Pi News episode 89. First up from Tom's Hardware, and this could be a big one. It's a Raspberry Pi 5 patch boosts performance up to 18%. And if we scroll down through, so Igalia, the free software consultancy, best known for its work on the Raspberry Pi's GPU, they're investigating non-uniform memory access. And it says significant performance uplift for the Raspberry Pi 5. And it talks about the patch here. I did have a look for it and I couldn't find it. I guess they're still working on it. Splitting the physical RAM into chunks and utilizing an allocation policy such as interleaving can enable the BCM 2721 memory controller to better utilize parallelism, whatever that means. But definitely could be good, an 18% performance increase, and then if we can overclock as well, who knows what we can do with the Pi 5. CNX Software also covered it, and they talked about the Geekbench 6 benchmarks, again the 18%. So whether that will transfer over to things like game emulation and just general use of the software, it will be interesting to see, and you can see some of the code in here, but I'll definitely be following this. Let me know if you've already tried it. Been loads of talk about the Raspberry Pi share offering, and from the Independent, Raspberry Pi shares jumped 40% after London IPO, and I'll link this story if you're interested in shares. I'm not, it's not really my thing, so I haven't really got anything much to say about it, but if we have a look at the London Stock Exchange, it's actually gone up since I copied this link, so it's up 2.37% at 410. And if we look at the graph, this is where it started, so 385, the high was 440, and what was the low? 372. So at some point you could have lost money, but now 406.88. And again, I'll link this, although a lot of it I don't really understand. A bit of hardware now. We had a Raspberry Pi AI kit. Now, obviously, everybody is talking about artificial intelligence. There's almost too much information about it. But this could definitely be very useful for especially local AI. So if you train this device to watch for particular things, so certainly in factories and camera systems and things like that, they tend to be very efficient. I've been reading about them a lot, because B-Link have sent me a little mini PC, and this has got one of the Intel Core Ultra CPUs in it, which has an AI element to it. And it definitely is the way that modern computers seem to be going. So if you've ever wanted to experiment with the world of neural networks, artificial intelligence and machine learning on your Raspberry Pi 5, we have the perfect product for you. So developed in collaboration with Halo, high performance, power efficient inferencing into a wide variety of applications. So it's priced at $70. So it's an M.2 hat, Halo AI accelerator module, 13 tera operations per second. So it'll be interesting to see what people come up with for this. And Zednet also covered this with an exclusive interview with Eben Upton and also the CEO of Halo as well. So Adrian Kingsley Hughes discussed the tech in this kit in his article on the topic. He's intrigued by the camera and pose analysis capabilities with an eye towards upgrading his security system. Eben Upton said the AI kit breaks new ground, both as our first Raspberry Pi branded AI product and by pushing performance up substantially in comparison with those legacy accelerators. So it says here, mainly vision-based applications for video analytics. This is done in a very low power consumption mode, which is what I've been reading a lot about the Intel Ultra Core one. So tasks that usually would use loads of CPU or GPU power, they're running at much lower wattage, and so obviously running a lot cooler as well. They use it on the Windows side for things like background blurring and picking out objects in images. And there was a review in Hackspace, and they gave it a 10 out of 10. So I'll link all of those stories in the description. Next up, a bit of very fancy looking hardware. So this case is from Sunfounder, and it's the Pineman 5. And I'll go into it in more detail because I'm being sent one to review. But yeah, when you look at it, it just looks very flash. You can see the little OLED display, NVMe slot, couple of fans, massive heatsink. It's a very impressive Raspberry Pi 5 case, but I look forward to testing it. We also had from 52Pi a high-speed NVMe and multi-gig Ethernet. So this is 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, and it's using the GPIO pins for power, which is definitely worthwhile on an NVMe drive. In a lot of my tests, I've found that if you plug anything else in while you're using an NVMe drive, if it's not powered by the GPIOs, then it does cause some sort of instability and slowdowns. So yeah, nice to see. And we also had this one. We had similar to this on a Raspberry Pi 4. This $6 adapter gives the Raspberry Pi 5 two full-size HDMI ports. So it's available from Waveshare, or Amazon, and you can see it just fits into the existing slots and just transfers you to full size HDMI, but also changes the port orientation, so everything is on the front apart from the SD card, which might be useful for some people for certain aspects. And thanks to Tom Termchenbauer for letting me know about 2 new operating systems. Now, I did install one of these. I think I installed Almalinux, but I can't find the memory stick that it was on. But I hope to try and review them in the future. But yeah, a couple of new operating systems. So we go into the welcome bit. So it's a spiritual successor to Aurora Linux. Try to make it easy for the user, even if we have to ship some proprietary drivers and codecs that Fedora wouldn't be comfy without the box. So Linux Fedora from Thailand, Arch64, which is for the Pi, and they've got Budgie, GNOME, KDE and XFCE. So one to look at, and also Almalinux. Raspberry Pi 5 support has been much anticipated in the Almalinux community, and today we're excited to share great news. Almalinux now has support for Raspberry Pi 5. Should we have a look on DistroWatch for that? Almalinux. There you go, Fedora, Red Hat from the USA, Arch64, GNOME, KDE, Mate, XFCE. The kernels used to build Almalinux Raspberry Pi images were created by Pablo Greco from CentOS, and there's all sorts of details in this, so I'll link both of these in the description. And I saw this come up in my feed. Now, my mate Vince is a UK YouTuber who fixes all sorts of things, really interesting to watch and really goes through the process. And yeah, it's a very relaxing channel and obviously doing very well. I can see 889,000 subscribers. I still haven't watched this yet. I keep meaning to get around it, but I figured I'd share it on Pi News so people can have a look and see if he was successful and see what sort of techniques he used to fix the Pis that he's been sent. But I won't show any more of it, so I'll put a link in the description. Worth a look. I'll definitely bookmark this video and watch it because I do really enjoy these videos. And we had a weird one on Hackster.io. So Derek Woodruff's PiTcal aims to turn a Raspberry Pi Pico W into a portable VoIP handset. And you can see an interesting choice on the buttons. 15 keypad, microphone, speaker and display. This battery-powered handset could deliver low-cost VoIP calls on the go. Using the Pico's board for Wi-Fi. As basic as possible, but to have a working, usable handheld phone. And I always like to see some teardowns. So it's not used for landline or cellular connectivity. Instead, it's designed to use Wi-Fi radio on the Raspberry Pi Pico to connect to a network. Storing credentials for up to 9 access points on the SD card and linked to an SIP server to make voice over IP calls. And we had a bit of a blast from the past with the Epipod. I think this is another Pico, is it? Or is it a Zero? The Pipod is a portable music player powered by Raspberry Pi, built using a custom board that can be ordered and also features an e-ink display, 5 hours battery life, 24-bit DAC, so high quality DAC, digital audio converter, and there's some various images of it here. Quite like the display, yeah it is a Zero. And there's the board. Available through PCBWay. Always nice to see projects like this on Raspberry Pi. Okay, so I hope all this helps. Thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe.